What's good with y'all, man? Jay Benzalite back again with another video. So this video right here is going to be about spirituality and psychology, and essentially how it goes hand in hand. So I was watching a video before from a different spiritual YouTuber, a different guru or spiritual type person, I guess whatever you could say. And the person had said in the video that spirituality is being a person that's spiritual. You're kind of like a psychologist. You're a person that studies the mind. And I thought about it, and it really clicked for me because I understand that very well. Because of my own experience, I see that clearly when he said it, but I never really thought about that before. Is that spirituality is essentially like being a psychologist. You're a person that really, you dive deep into the mind and how the mind works and all these different things. You go into meditation, quieting the mind, observing the thoughts which run through the mind, observing the nature of your own mind, you know, observing the nature of your own mind and how your own mind works, how your conscious mind works, the thoughts that come, as well as how your subconscious mind works too, how your unconscious mind works, the things that you do without even noticing, without even being aware of it at all, you know? Like I remember before, there was a time when I had a PS5, right? Or was it PS4? Was it back when I had a PS4? I think, oh no, it was back when I had a PS4. And the PS4 was in my room. I usually have I had my PS4 in my room for many years. And I would play my PS4. I love video games. And I would play it like in my room all the time, right? And a day came where I had moved my PS4 down to the basement instead of my room. And I realized that I had an unconscious habit, because a day came after I moved my PS4 to the basement. I have gone into my room and I had sat down on my bed, and then I went and I reached for the PS4 to turn it on, but it wasn't there. Like I did that unconsciously without even me being aware of it. I unconsciously just went and turned it on because that's a habit that I had programmed my mind and my body into doing, you know? So I remember that. It was very interesting to me. And it made me think of what are the other ways that, what are the other ways in which I'm doing things, the other ways in which I'm doing things which I might not exactly be aware of, you know? The other ways I'm doing stuff that I'm doing it because of the habits that I program myself, because of the habit that I programmed myself into following for so long and train myself into following for so long. For example, one of those habits for me would be working out every day, going to the gym, or sometimes I don't even go to the gym. Sometimes I just do calisthenics, body weight workout and stuff like that. I do some yoga, some stretching, and I program my body and my mind into that habit of working out every day, working on my body and my health every single day. And I've trained that habit over a number of years to the point where it's like a unconscious thing that I just do it. And when I don't do it, then I find myself doing it regardless, because my body just like kind of craves it, I guess you could say, like just does it on its own in a way, you know? But going back into spirituality and psychology, something I realized when I dive deep into that thought of spirituality being like a person that's spiritual, being like a psychologist, is that when you're a person who considers themselves spiritual, like me, I consider myself, I guess I would consider myself to be spiritual. I say I guess because I wouldn't put any labels like that onto myself, you know? I wouldn't label myself as spiritual. I wouldn't label myself as anything. I'm just a being, you know. But but for the sake of this conversation, then yeah, I guess you could call me a spiritual person. I would I'm a spiritual person, right? So as a spiritual person, I find that through meditation and whatnot and studying the mind, journaling and watching other YouTube videos and about spirituality, about psychology, reading a lot of books on all this different stuff, these different topics when it comes to spirituality, psychology, whatever it might be, the mind, that I find that through learning all these different things, especially through my own journey within to my own self of meditation and whatnot, yoga and things of that nature, and just going about my life and being meditative, not just meditating, not just sitting down and going into meditation, but just in my everyday life of doing what I do, just being aware of myself, of my thoughts and whatnot, and the things that I in the everyday things that I do, being that's being meditative. I find that through this journey into understanding myself more, my own mind more and more, that I start to understand other people more as well. I start to understand and relate to people a lot more. And I started to really understand on a deeper and deeper level why people think the way they think and do the things that they do and whatnot, Like for example, my black queens out there, my goddesses out there, my black women, who the feminine reflections of myself, you know. In today's society in the United States, I'm not really sure about other countries, so I live in the U.S. So speaking on the United States, a lot of the black women, I would say the majority of black women that I see, the black goddesses that I see, they put all types of weaves and perms and wigs and extensions and all this different stuff into their hair, because because black woman, your hair is like me. It's like these. You feel me? Your hair is like this, but yet I find that majority of the black women, especially the ones on TV and social media and whatnot, they have these wigs and these weaves and whatnot that are straight like white people's hair, straight like white people's hair, straight like a Indian woman's hair, thing or something like that, even though your hair is naturally nappy or kinky, whatever you want to call it, naturally like this, like my head, and to me, I've noticed this for a very long time, since I was young, but I kind of turned a blind eye to it. It was just something that was just there to me. And oh yeah, and also add on top of that the fact that a lot of black women straighten their hair, put a flat iron to their hair and straighten it. You know what I'm saying? And I find that as I got older and older, and now I observe this more and more, and after I had a spiritual awakening, and I went deeper and deeper and dived deep into the mind and whatnot, I find that I find it to be very disturbing to me. It's very weird to me. It's very because it's like this. It's like you have hair like me. Like you see my head. This is my hair. This is my natural hair. I don't got none. This is my head. You feel me? Line up sharp. You know what I'm saying? line up sharp. You know what I mean? I got a hairline. You feel me? And you're a woman who has hair like me, yet you put on these wigs and these weaves and you straighten your hair and you do all these things to look like the opposite of you. Look like the woman who is the opposite of you, who is the white woman or Indian woman. You do these things to straighten you try to look far from yourself. You try to look like somebody that's not you. And I would love to have a conversation with somebody, with a black woman who is spiritually minded and open-minded enough to have intellectual conversation on this topic. But like, it's weird to me. Like you put in somebody else's hair on your head. That's like, my nigga, that's like if I popped up on you and I got a fucking mullet on my head. Like, imagine I pull up to the gym or some shit and I got a whole mullet on my head like a white man, like a white boy. You feel me? Like, that shit be weird as hell. You be looking at me like, what the fuck's wrong with this nigga? Or imagine if I pulled up with a white man toupee, some shit. Like, I got, like, you know what I'm saying, though? Like, that shit is demonic, my nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is, it's shit weird. And that's one of the things that I talk about. It's like, I just don't understand how one could I just don't understand. I don't understand that. But anyways, back to the main topic is, that's just one aspect of it. And when you dive deep into psychology and spirituality and whatnot, you find that when you dive deep into spirituality, you get into the psychology of things. You find that you start to understand more. You understand that majority of black women do this because they find that in society, and in today's society, having straight hair is looked at as more desirable. Having straight hair like a white woman is more desirable, or some shit, or having hair like, or having straight hair like a white woman or a white person is looked at as more professional, and all that stuff, you know? Like you look on the news and you see majority of the black women that's on the news or just on TV in general have straight hair like a white woman, even though your hair doesn't naturally grow from your scalp like that. You feel me? Like, it's a very interesting thing to observe. Not only that, but when you get deeper into the mind and you observe other people and how they, like, you ever try to wake somebody, like, I do this all the time for me. You ever try to wake somebody up, especially a family member who's been sleeping conditioned for a very long time, for all their life? You ever try to wake up the sleep? You ever try to wake somebody up? You ever try to put some information into somebody's head and you observe how just the demons and just the programming just work to try and stop that flow of information from entering their head. Like you ever just observed, just the cognitive dissonance in people? You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever try to tell somebody, like, oh, like, yo, 2 + 2 is 4. You know that, right? Like, 2 + 2 is 4. Like, and then you add you get the receipts too. You like, oh yeah, like 2 + 2 is 4, bro. Like, all you gotta do, get the 2, add another 2, and then, but then like, you observe how in their mind it don't click because of all the programming, all the conditioning that they receive from their life, and you observe how they just they'll shut you off, or they'll try to diverge the conversation, or they'll try to deflect, or they'll try all these different forms of mental gymnastics, all these different forms of just like just all these different forms of mental gymnastics, all these different forms of just deflection, psychological deflection that they'll do when they hear information that is valid, or at least sounds valid, but goes against the programming that they've received in their mind, and their own mind, from their family members, from their friends, from society, from the TV, from all this different stuff, from their religion, all that, you know? Like, you ever try to tell a Christian person, like, yo, bro, like yo, you a god, you know that, right? Like, you you a god, like, you have pictures of this white Jesus and shit and all these angels and shit in your house, my nigga. That you need to throw that shit in the fucking garbage, nigga. You was a god. You need to throw this religion shit in the garbage. You need to, nigga, fuck the church, nigga. You are the church and all that shit. And then the religious person will just shut down what you say because it goes against what they've been fed into their mind through the religion that they into. You know what I'm saying? Like, you tell them that they a god. You tell a religious person that, like, you tell a religious person you a god, bruh. You tell a religious person you a god, and they gonna look at you and be like, ah, I'm God? No, that's blasphemy. 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 All this shit. You feel me? But then John chapter 10, John chapter 10, verse 34, is it not written in your law that ye are gods? 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16, I believe. The kingdom of God is within you. You feel me? And even in motherfucking a bunch of other places in the Bible, it tell you, like, not to have no false idols, not to make, I think, what was it, like, it was, don't make these don't make gods of stone and wood, you know, some shit like that, stones and metal and all this other stuff, meaning, like, stop, don't create these monuments and all this different shit and worship all these different altars and all this different shit to worship all these to try and worship some shit that you to be the stand-in to worship, to be in a stand-in to worship something that you've never seen or whatnot, that you believe to be God the creator and whatnot, when it's all within your own self. They gonna look at you and they gonna say demonic. They gonna say blasphemy. They gonna go crazy. They gonna throw some holy water on your head and all this other shit. You feel me? It's very interesting when you observe people, as after you have a spiritual awakening. For real though, spirituality is a form of going deeper and deeper into psychology and how people's mind work, and how just the mind works, and how the mind and the spirit go hand in hand together, and how it all correlates. Like you have a spiritual awakening, and next thing you know, like, damn, you start to really realize, and you start to observe people and really why niggas do the things they do and why they think the way they think. And you really start to see why people's lives are the way that they are. You start to see why people suffer. You start to really see why people some people is fucked up. You start to really see why people is just maybe not in the place that they want to be. It's really all because of you. You be your own worst enemy. 9 times out of 10, you were your own worst enemy. You know? 9 times out of 10 is just yourself that's standing in the way of you getting to wherever you want to go. You feel me? And that's really something that you understand when you get deeper and deeper into spirituality. You realize that your reality is what you create of it. You create your own reality. You know what I'm saying? You have the choice to get up and hit the gym and be healthy, or you have a choice to sit down on the couch and eat motherfucking Cheetos all day. You feel me? Both is going to give you fulfillment in the moment and satisfaction in the moment. Maybe not fulfillment, but it's going to give you satisfaction in the moment, both of those things. But what is going to be worth it more in the long term? What's going to give you better results in the long term? What's going to be better for you? You feel me? That depends on the way that you see it. That depends on your mind. But this video already long enough. This shit 20 minutes in. I'm Jay Benzalite, man. This is spirituality and psychology. I might make a part 2 to this. Now that I think about it, I might make a part 2 to this. But Jay Benzalite, I'm out.